If you're a serious gamer who wants every ounce of competitive advantage you can get, you will need the lowest input lag from your display. To achieve this on a modern television, you usually have to put the TV into game mode, which in theory should cut down video processing to reduce latency. But how much are you losing in terms of picture quality? In this video, we aim to find out by running some tests on an OLED and QLED television, two of the leading TV technologies on the market. Hello everyone, my name is Vincent Teo. I'm a TV reviewer and professional calibrator. Here, I have two LG C9 OLED and two Samsung Q90R QLED, 455-inch TVs for playing games in this comparison video. The missus was quite disappointed when she found out this was what I meant when I told her I would like to spend more time on foreplay. As you can expect from me, all four TVs have been calibrated for cinema or movie mode and game mode in both SDR and HDR. Because of my camera's limited dynamic range, YouTube's conversion, and also the screen you're using to watch, what you're seeing in this video may not fully represent what I am actually seeing in person, so please do not judge picture quality based solely on what you see in this video. Also, my camera has a tendency to somehow pick up a blue tint on the OLEDs, even though I have perceptually matched them to the QLEDs. With this disclaimer out of the way, what I'm going to do first is to compare a Samsung Q90R QLED TV in calibrated movie mode versus another Samsung Q90R in calibrated game mode. I've had to put some padding beneath one Q90R to make sure both sets were level. This was at the beginning when I was still enthusiastic about making this video. Then I realized that there's a lot of work involved. Anyway, I'm going to do the same for the LG C9 OLED, calibrated cinema mode versus calibrated game mode. And finally, the LG C9 OLED versus the Samsung Q90R QLED, both in calibrated game mode. Let's jump right in. Here I have two Samsung Q90R QLED TVs arranged side by side, angled inwards to minimize off-axis color shift from the camera. The one on your left is in calibrated movie mode, the one on your right is in calibrated game mode. Both TVs have been updated to firmware 1351, the latest at the time I filmed this video in early 2020. Input lag in movie mode measured around 70 milliseconds, which can be reduced to 16 milliseconds by engaging game mode. While calibrating and matching the Samsung Q90R, I immediately noticed that game mode exhibited more blooming than movie mode, indicating that local dimming wasn't as effective in game mode, perhaps a necessary sacrifice as video processing is cut down. On this star-filled scene from the Spears & Munsell UHD HDR benchmark disc, the stars disappeared intermittently for longer periods in game mode, because less video processing was available to drive the local dimming correctly. Moving on to an actual game, this dark gameplay sequence in Horizon Zero Dawn clearly demonstrated the impact of ineffective local dimming in game mode, with the blacks looking grayer and bluer, and the whole picture appearing more washed out than in movie mode. To prove that this difference wasn't caused by panel-to-panel variation, you can see that once I went into the user menu and disabled game mode, the blacks became inkier, shadow detail became clearer, and the picture had more color vibrancy and pop, matching the screen on the left. When I re-engaged game mode, grayness again descended upon the image, draining away the color saturation and accuracy. Next, we compared a bright scene from Horizon Zero Dawn with specular highlight detail. The Samsung Q90R's game mode looked less impactful than movie mode, with the sun in the clouds appearing slightly darker and indistinct, probably because local dimming and dynamic tone mapping have to be neutered in game mode to reduce input lag. This has a knock-on effect on color volume too, leading to a more muted HDR presentation. Otherwise, we checked out upscaling using an SMPTE RP133 test card in PAL resolution, as well as motion resolution on this horizontally scrolling test pattern, and didn't see any significant difference from a normal viewing distance. Up close, we saw a bit more black trailing and inverse ghosting in game mode versus movie mode, and indeed, After capturing multiple photos using a pursuit camera technique invented by Mark Rajon of Blurbusters.com, we confirmed image duplication artifacts in game mode, suggesting that it's driven by a different PWM or pulse width modulation method. Again, we stressed that the difference was not visible to our naked eye from a normal viewing distance, despite spinning around like crazy in Horizon Zero Dawn. Before I move on to the next comparison, I would like to thank Richer Sounds Manchester for sponsoring this video. If you are thinking about buying a new television, even if it's not the Samsung Q90R or LG C9, please support this channel by considering buying from them. Call 0333 900 0086, mention HDTV Test, and you will receive great price and service. Thanks again for your support. Okay. Here we have set up two LG C9 OLEDs side by side, and the one on your left is in calibrated cinema mode and the one on your right is in calibrated game mode. Both have been updated to the latest firmware of 4.71.05. Input lag in cinema mode with true motion off was 50 milliseconds, whereas it's 13 milliseconds in game mode. We scrutinized all the same scenes and test patterns, and saw virtually no downgrade in picture quality in game mode versus cinema mode on the LG C9. All the stars in the Spears and Munsell starfield footage were still intact while maintaining inky blacks. And when it came to this dark cave scene from Horizon Zero Dawn, again we are splitting hairs in terms of blacks and low light detail. Colors retained their pop in game mode too, not only in the Spears and Munsell demo sequences, but also in actual gameplay where the tone mapping in game mode mirrored that of cinema mode. Note that the limited dynamic range of my camera is causing the sun and clouds to clip as you watch on your screen. In actual viewing, there's more highlight detail present on both LG C9s. As long as you send a progressive video signal with all motion processing turned off, which is what you want to do when playing games anyway, there's no difference in upscaling and motion handling between game mode and cinema mode on the LG C9. And because of OLED's near instantaneous pixel response time, equally there's no black trailing or inverse ghosting artifact in game mode, only the usual sample and hold motion blur. As a bonus, you even get full chroma bandwidth in game mode, whereas cinema mode exhibited some slight darkening of the finest vertical chroma detail. So what can we conclude from this comparison test? It seems that when you engage game mode to lower input lag, the picture quality on a QLED LCD takes a bigger hit than that on an OLED. The reason is because much of the Samsung Q90R's competitive picture quality is powered by full array local dimming or FALD. Yet in game mode, video processing has to be cut down to reduce latency, leading to noticeably handicapped local dimming. On the other hand, OLED TVs such as the LG C9 derive most of their excellent image quality from the OLED panel itself. Even if you put the crappiest video processor, an OLED display is still going to deliver true blacks, vibrant colors, wide viewing angles, and clean motion owing to very fast pixel response time, attributes that are natively inherent to OLED technology. So when you compare the Samsung Q90R in game mode versus the LG C9 in game mode, the picture quality gap widens even more, ranging from misfiring local dimming to a hazier appearance in dark scenes. On bright HDR scenes, originally the Samsung Q90R in movie mode had a visible advantage over the LG C9 in terms of peak brightness and overall pop. But once we enabled game mode on both sets, the QLED lost its luster, and both TVs looked more similar in APL across a number of video clips, although the Q90R still retained its upper hand in color volume, with the fire appearing more saturated while burning brightly. In a nutshell, taking everything into consideration, OLED is the better choice if you are a gamer who wants both great picture quality and low input lag when playing games. But what about burn-in, I hear you ask? Well, I know if I finish this video without addressing OLED screen burn in the context of gaming, I will never hear the end of it in the YouTube comment section below. So what I've done was to carry out sort of a 24-hour OLED burn-in test immediately after unboxing an LG C9. Keep watching to find out the results. So I've finished setting up this 55-inch LG C9 OLED TV, and we're going to run a 24-hour burn-in test, where essentially we'll be displaying the Fortnite game for 24 hours non-stop to assess the impact this has on image retention or permanent screen burn. So I've hooked up this LG C9 to a Meridio 6G signal generator, and we will put up some full field color slides to check the screen uniformity at baseline. So if we can go to red, green, blue, yellow, cyan, and magenta. Hopefully you can see from your screen, just as I'm seeing in person, that the panel is pretty clean. Maybe you'll see some irregularities from your screen, but that may be just because of YouTube's compression, or just your own screen, or just some dust on my camera sensor. But as I'm watching this in person, they all look pretty clean. Now I'm going to try and display Fortnite for 24 hours. But of course, I'm not going to sit here for 24 hours playing the game non-stop, because these days I find that I no longer have the stamina to last long enough. So instead, what we will do is to summon the YouTube app, where I have lined up 3 Fortnite gameplay videos of certain duration. So the first one will be almost 12 hours long, the second one will be 10 hours long, and the third one almost 5 hours long. And why Fortnite then? Because I think this is a game that is most likely to be played for prolonged periods by gamers out there. I hear that it can be quite addictive, and also it is one of the few games where I can find prolonged gameplay videos. So we're going to summon the user menu, where I'll show you the picture mode I've selected for the purpose of this burn-in test. I've gone for game mode, obviously, because this is the picture mode that is most likely to be used by hardcore gamers out there to achieve the lowest input lag and the fastest gaming responsiveness. I've left all the settings at default, even the white balance settings. So I've resisted the temptation to calibrate this TV, the travesty. And if we go out to the OLED panel settings, you can see that I've left the screen shift as default engaged and logo luminance adjustment at low. These are the default parameters to reduce the risk of permanent screen burn on OLED TVs. So we'll start the playlist, and as you can see, there are various static elements on screen that may pose a risk to any OLED panel when it comes to image retention or even permanent burn-in. There's a map on the top right corner and some health and armor bars on the bottom left corner. So I will let these gameplay videos run for 24 hours, but what I'm going to do is to take my iPad and start a timer. So I will run these gameplay videos and also the timer for 24 hours. I'm just gonna try and grab a bite, have some sleep or whatever, and I'll see you in 24 hours time. Welcome back. 24 hours have elapsed, as you can see from the iPad timer. So what we're going to do now is to check the screen uniformity to see if any image retention or even permanent screen burn has developed. Now I haven't put this TV into standby, so no compensation cycles have run. What we're going to do is to switch input sources to the Meridio 6G, so you can see. Alright, I should remove the timer. So red, green, blue, yellow, cyan, and magenta. Maybe around this area here, there might be some image retention from the health or armor bar. And maybe here as well. You can see a slight area of darkening developing there, maybe. But what I'm going to do now is to put the TV into standby to let at least one cycle of compensation run. And I'll see you back here in 10 minutes time. So 10 minutes have passed, which is more than enough time for a minor compensation cycle to run on a 55-inch OLED television. So I'm going to switch on this LG C9. And we're going to check the screen uniformity using full field color slides again. So red, green, blue, yellow, cyan, and magenta, and even the slightest hint of darkening around this area here has disappeared, which means that the compensation cycle has done its job to basically detect any irregularities in uniformity through a self-sensing current and then adjust the voltage to compensate for it. So I think the conclusion that we can draw from this very short test, well, I say short, it's 24 hours long, is that even after playing a game non-stop for 24 hours with various static elements on screen, you won't develop permanent screen burn because of the compensation cycle. So hopefully you can see that even after playing the same game for 24 hours non-stop, an OLED TV won't develop burn-in. The compensation cycles will work their magic to clear up any image retention. It's like when you are browsing the internet using Google Chrome and have too many tabs open. Just reboot your laptop and you will start with a clean slate on a Google search page. Of course, more long-term testing is needed to conclusively examine the effects of gaming on OLED TVs. We will consider doing it if we can figure out a way to feed random gameplay footage of the same game over 6 months in an automated manner to an OLED TV. If you found this video useful, please click the like button and subscribe to the HDTV Test YouTube channel for more videos like this. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video.